I'm Les from Tabletop Tastings, and today we're going to do a deep dive into the 12 different archaeological sites of Archeos Society. Let's go. In Archeos Society, there are 6 double-sided boards, each with a compass and each with an advanced side, for a total of 12 different archaeological sites or regions. In the manual, there are 6 different scenarios, which highlight each of the advanced sides of the boards, so we'll cover those in detail. For now, let's jump in and take a look at our first board. First up, we've got the red board, which features sites from North America. The compass side, or the basic side, is les Meadows. This is located in the northern tip of the Canadian province, Newfoundland. We find evidence of the first known European presence in the Americas here. And over the past several thousand years, this was home to the Vikings, Norse sailors, and is now known as the oldest European settlement in North America. Most of the boards in Archeos Society have 6 spaces for advancement, but this north site eclipses them all with 9 tracks. No large expeditions required here, and early on in the game offers the biggest return on cards played, especially in the first 3 spaces, which only require a single card to advance. And while the single card expeditions don't earn any points at season end, in a game with 4 more players, advancing on this track early on is a great way to secure some easy points and reap those rewards during all 3 seasons. If we flip it over, on the advanced side is Chichen Itza. This moves us to the other end of the continent, all the way down to Mexico. Chichen Itza is home to one of the largest Mayan cities. This site covers an area of 5 square kilometers and contains many fine stone buildings that would have originally been painted red, green, blue, and purple. The advanced side offers the second fewest points for season end scoring in the game. But every time you advance, at the end of your turn, you may draw up to the number of cards depicted in the hand symbol. So the first time you advance, you draw a single card, and then so on and so forth. All cards drawn must come from the deck, not the display. And remember, if keeping existing cards through the physician or drawing new cards with the patron, we can never have more than 10 cards. As soon as the 10th card is drawn, you immediately stop taking new cards. Now, if doing this scenario and using Chichen Itza as your advanced side, the recommended roles to use with that are the botanist, the guide, the photographer, the physician, the pilot, and the student. Next, we have our blue board, which features regions in Europe. Our compass side is Grotta Azzurra. The Grotta Azzurra is located along the coast of Capri. It's an Italian island, and the Grotta Azzurra, or Blue Grotto, is an unusual sea cave illuminated by natural blue light. During the reign of Tiberius in Roman times, the grotto was used as a marine temple and is home to many ancient Roman underwater statues. This is a beautiful site, and card progression is very straightforward, advancing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, the first 2 spaces offer 0 points, so if you're going to commit to the region, it's worth it. But you want to avoid slowly building up here, as your efforts could net you nothing in the first or even the second season scoring rounds. The advanced side, Tantallon Castle, is also on the coast, this time in Scotland, and here lies a ruined mid-14th century fortress. This beast of a castle had a curtain wall that was over 49 feet high, 12 feet thick, and 300 feet long. It survived many attacks against it. This is quite possibly one of my favorite advanced sites. It favors sieging up by yourself. If you're the only vehicle in a space at season end, you score the points in the large star. However, if you share a space with someone, you and everyone else who shares that space with you only score half of the points you would otherwise, as depicted by the number in the small star. Timing here is everything. And watching the cards other players are drawing is key to knowing when and when not to advance, to avoid having to share your points with others. When playing with Tantallon Castle on the advanced side, for that scenario, the manual recommends bringing the botanist, the cartographer, the curator, the patron, the pilot, and the student. Next, we have our pink board, which represents regions from Asia. The compass side, Sigiriya, also known as the Lion Rock, is an ancient rock fortress located in Sri Lanka. It's a massive 590-foot high column of granite with a large lion carved into one of the sides. Occupied by Buddhist monks, this is considered to be one of the best preserved examples of ancient urban planning. Because of the height of this location, it's a bit harder to get started on this track, with the card requirements to advance starting at 3. However, it provides the most consistent card-to-point ratio of all of the locations. Every advancement on this board is solid. It's just slightly behind the leader, which is the green board, Machu Picchu. Next up is the advanced side, Ur. Ur was an important Sumerian city-state in ancient Mesopotamia and located in South Iraq. It's an ancient city that's referenced in the Bible and has been a popular site for many excavations, especially that of the royal tombs, which have contained an immense treasure of luxury items made of precious metals and stones imported from long distances away. Ur is the lowest scoring board in the game, but it comes with a very nice perk. When the third monkey card is revealed, in turn order, each player may immediately play an expedition before scoring that round. The maximum size of your expedition depends on your vehicle's position on the track. With 4 more players, that's up to 3 free expeditions played over the course of the game. When using Ur on the advanced side, for your scenario, it's recommended using the cartographer, the curator, the guide, the physician, the professor, and the student. Next, we have the green board, which represents South America. The compass side starts off with the just mentioned Machu Picchu. It's a 15th century Inca citadel located in southern Peru on an 8,000-foot mountain ridge. Often referred to as the lost city of the Incas, it was an icon of the Inca Empire. The Inca civilization had no known written language, yet what the civilization built was absolutely incredible. And the same can be said for the compass side of this board. Advancing at 2, 4, and 6 card requirements, it offers the strongest points to card ratio of all of the 6 space regions. Moving on this track anytime, it's always a solid choice and will always benefit you. If we flip it over to the advanced side, we've got Rapa Nui. And this is the original name for Easter Island, which is one of the world's most isolated inhabited islands. It's part of Chile and is famous for nearly 1,000 statues called moai, which were created by the early Rapa Nui people. This is the most unique of all of the tracks, having only 4 spaces to advance on. At season end, the player or players, if there's a tie, that are furthest ahead on the track score for the space they are on, and then gain 3 points and reset back to the start of the track. Everyone else stays exactly where they are. So if you had advanced to the 3rd space and were furthest ahead, you would score 4 points, plus 3 for being the furthest ahead, for a total of 7, and would then reset to the start of the track. When playing this scenario, it's recommended bringing the curator, the linguist, the mercenary, the patron, the photographer, and the physician. We now move on to the yellow board, which represents Africa. On the compass side, we've got the Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe is the name of the stone ruins of an ancient city near the modern country of Zimbabwe. It's part of a large and wealthy global trading network, and although abandoned in the 15th century, was believed to have served as a royal place for the local monarch. At this site, we have a very straightforward advancement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And while the points for the first few spaces pay back 1-to-1 for the cards played, much like how this city fared, it crumbles in the late game. From the spaces 4 and on, this board is the poorest points return for cards played required to advance on it. So it's good for early game, but it's the worst scoring basic board from all the sites. What the Great Zimbabwe lacks, though, is made up for on the advanced side of Ta-Sekhet-Ma'at. This is the Egyptian name for the Valley of Kings located in Egypt. The valley contains at least 63 tombs, and despite the name, contains the tombs of pharaohs, nobles, as well as their wives and children. Because of the complexity of this region, at setup, players place 2 vehicles in the leftmost space instead of 1. When advancing, choose one of the vehicles to advance. At season end, the vehicle furthest along this track scores nothing, and only your vehicle in second place scores the points shown in the star. To get both vehicles to the final spot requires advancing 10 times, but the payout for doing that is 20 points. This is very strong if you can get both vehicles there before the game ends. When using this for the scenario, you want to choose the linguist, the cartographer, the mercenary, the photographer, the pilot, and the professor. Last up, we've got our purple board, which represents the Oceania region. The compass side is Nan Madol. It's an archaeological site adjacent to the eastern shore of the island of Pompeii. The city was built in a lagoon and consisted of a series of small artificial islands linked by a network of canals. Nan Madol means within the intervals and is a reference to the canals that crisscross throughout the ruins. This board is the second longest in Archeos Society with 8 spaces, and due to the complexity of the canals, it's very easy to get lost. This is the only region where the point values go up and down as you progress. For example, the first space is -2 points, and then it's up 2 points, down to 0, up to 6, down to 3, up to 10, down to 5, and then finishes on 14. Finishing on the positive spaces has the highest points to cards played ratio in the game. But those crack spaces, they offer the worst. Advancing here requires you to make the decision to advance or not, depending on how many monkeys have been revealed. Has the second monkey been drawn, or maybe even the first? This needs to be factored when deciding to advance here or choosing to wait and advancing somewhere else. You don't want to get stuck on the cracks. The advanced side of the purple board is Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, which is a large sandstone formation in the center of Australia and is considered sacred by the local Aboriginal people. Uluru is one of Australia's most recognizable landmarks and has been a popular destination for tourists since the late 1930s. Notice on the board, the stars are black and not white. Well, black in Archeos Society means score or take immediately, versus white, which is only scored or taken at season end. After advancing your vehicle, you may immediately choose to gain the points shown on your current space. If you do, reset your vehicle back to the leftmost space of the site. This board can offer huge payouts, but only after you advance to the site and only if you choose to score and reset. This offers a great risk-reward factor. It's great to make it to the 6th spot and cash out for 20 points. But if the game ends before you have a chance to play that last expedition, you get nothing, as you only get the points after playing an expedition and advancing to the next space. When using this site as your scenario, it's recommended using the botanist, the guide, the linguist, the mercenary, the patron, and the professor. And that's it. Those are the 12 regions of Archeos Society. If you'd like to learn how to play Archeos Society, check out my Learn to Play video. To do a deep dive into the different roles of Archeos Society, I've got a video for that as well. And on our main channel, episode 1 of Tabletop Tastings, Steve and I play through Archeos Society. We do a ton of stuff wrong, but it's a lot of fun and we drink some really great bourbon. So do all the things. Subscribe, like, comment, all of that really helps us out. My name is Les, and I hope I've given you a little more by digging into the archaeological sites of Archeos Society.